There is no handbook on how to face the grief, the anger, the sadness of losing a child to such a senseless and cruel act of violence. In fact, we know psychologically it is the number one stressor that you can face in your life, losing a child suddenly and violently. And there is nothing else that compares to it. It's been 4 long months since grieving parents, Kimberly and Angel, lost their 10-year-old daughter, Amerie, in the tragic Uvalde school shooting. Now, they say each day without her just seems to get harder and harder. The emptiness, the void, the loneliness just seems to just get worse and worse. Now, Jamie and Reuben's daughter, Chloe, was with Amerie that fatal day in classroom 112 of Robb Elementary School. Thank you both for being here and talking about this. It's things we learn from parents like you that help us decipher and figure things out going forward. And I know that this had to be terribly traumatic for the two of you as well. It took a long time for all of this to unfold. When was the first time you were able to speak to your daughter after this happened?
I didn't speak to her. I didn't speak to her until I got to the hospital, which was 4 hours later. I was at work. I was 3 hours away from work, and she had gone to the ER. And my sister-in-law is the one that responded to the hospital. She was able to go and look for our daughter at that time. We thought she was going to be at the Civic Center, but she ended up going to the ER.
And she, in fact, had some shrapnel. When she got to the ER, she had some shrapnel in her forehead and her leg?
Yes, her right forehead and at the top, and then her left thigh.
And when you talked to her, was she coherent?
It took her a little while. She didn't even really remember her name or anything then, so.
What did she say to you?
Oh, I was driving from Oklahoma down here.
Mm-hmm.
When I talked to her on the phone, she said, "Mom, I was in a school shooting. Hurry up and get here."
You say the first thing that she told you, Reuben, was that she didn't freeze up.
Freeze up, yes.
What did she mean by that?
Well, this is not the first shooting that's happened in our nation. So me being a prior Marine, when things like this happen, I speak to my kids on certain situations on, what they can do to help themselves out during that situation. And she was younger at that time whenever we would talk. 8, 9 years old, and that's a perfect response for an 8-year-old, that she would freeze up, at that moment. And then, just to recollect those scenarios that we went through when I first seen her, that's, said she didn't freeze up. And that was just, to me, like, that's, and I know it's a horrible tragedy that happened, but, she was, thinking what can she do to survive, the situation she was put in. Mm-hmm. So that was just, heartbreaking to hear from her end, but also, from a tactical standpoint, like that's what you want out of somebody, not to freeze up,
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.